Broadcasting live from somewhere in the Shadow Realm, this is YuGiOh Duel Links Talk. Here's your host, Doug Dimmaduel.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of YuGiOh Duel Links Talk. Today, I want to take a look at a deck that I've personally been using in the YuGiOh World Championship qualifiers. This one has gotten me pretty far into golds. It's actually got me right on the cusp of platinum. It's just a fun one as far as I'm concerned, because I really enjoy the Mako Tsunami build decks. So I just wanted to go over with you at least what I've put together in a deck, just that's been getting me into the gold ranking system right now. So if you have the types of cards to do this, then you want to try and make it to gold, feel free to use this deck, and hopefully it'll get you there. So the first card that I have, because it's a Mako Tsunami deck, and I'm using the skill Mythic Depths, so at least you start with Umi out there on the field. Of course, the card that you have to have is Levy a Dragon, the level 7 Sea Serpent, with 2600 attack, 1500 defense, where you could send one face-up Umi you control to the graveyard and destroy all other cards on the field. So, fortunately for me, I got lucky in my pulls as far as the packs went, and I was able to reset. So I actually got 2 copies of Levy a Dragon. So this is a must-have. If you can try and get multiple copies, if you have the gems to do it, yes, you definitely need to try for it. The next card that I have 3 copies of, and this is one that you can get from the card trader, is Hammer Shark, the level 4 fish, 1700 attack, 1500 defense. Its effect is once per turn, you can reduce the level of this card by 1, and if you do, special summon 1 level 3 or lower water monster from your hand. So this card is important. At least in my deck, I run 3 copies of this, and I'll explain why once I start getting into the combos here. Next, I also have 1 copy of Piercing Moray. I do have more than 1 copy of it, but I just keep it to 1 just in case I need it in a pinch. It's 1500 attack, 500 defense. Once per turn, you contribute 1 fish, sea serpent, or aqua type monster, and this card gains 600 attack. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. So that's where it comes into handy too, especially when your opponent has his or her back against the wall and they're just putting monsters face down. The fact that this inflicts piercing damage is very beneficial. Next we have Needle Sunfish, the level 3 fish, 1500 attack, 100 defense. When this card is sent to the graveyard, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. That target loses 500 attack. So in this deck, I've run 2 copies of it, and you'll see I'm going to have a lot of emphasis on level 3 monsters, and part of it comes down to Hammer Shark. The next level 3 monster I have in here is Yomi Ship. It is the level 3 Aqua, 800 attack, 1400 defense. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, destroy the monster that destroyed this card. So I'm lucky enough to have 2 copies of it as well, so that's where I run 2 copies. I also run 1 copy of Suijin, the level 7 Aqua monster, 2500 attack, 2400 defense. During damage calculation in your opponent's turn, if this card is being attacked, you can target the attacking monster and make that target's attack 0 during the damage calculation. It's a quick effect and that can only be used once while the card is face up on the field. Next, I run 3 copies of Unshaven Angler, the level 4 fish, 1500 attack, 1600 defense. When tribute summoning a water monster, you can treat this one monster as 2 tributes. So the reason why I run 3 of those is to get my Levy a Dragon out there or my Suijin. The sooner I could get that, the better. I also then run 3 copies of Lost Blue Breaker, level 3 Sea Serpent, 1400 attack, 0 defense. If there is another face-up fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua type monster on the field, you contribute this card to target 1 spell or trap card on the field and destroy that target. So that includes your own too, so you could do some pretty decent combos as far as if you have a Wild Tornado or something like that, which I'll get into in a second. As far as spell and trap cards, I run 3 copies of Double Summon, which allows you to conduct 2 normal summons or sets in 1 turn, not just 1. Then you have, I also run 1 copy of Big Wave, Small Wave, which allows you to destroy all face-up water monsters you control, then special summon water monsters from your hand up to the number of monsters destroyed by this effect. The reason I only run 1 is because it can get a little cloggy sometimes, so if you keep it down to 1 or 2, I think it'll work better for you. I also run an extra copy of Umi, just 1, because you're starting off with 1 on the field under Mythic Depths. Then I run a copy of Mishizer, the trap card that you activate when a monster is sent from the field to the graveyard. Select and destroy one monster on the field, and you can activate this during the damage step. Then I run one copy of Wild Tornado. I'd like to run two at some point, but I only have one copy right now. Select one face-up card in the spell and trap zones and destroy it. The controller of the destroyed card can then set one spell or trap card from their hand. If this set card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, select to destroy one face-up card on the field. So that also goes for opponents' monsters too. So you could go either way with that. Now, as far as combos are concerned, the reason why I was harping on having multiple copies of Hammer Shark is because if you have Hammer Shark in your hand and one of your other level 3 monsters, such as Needle Sunfish, or if you have Yomi Ship, or in my case, I love to have Lost Blue Breaker in my hand as well. So if I'm going second against, say, for example, a Harpy's Hunting Ground deck, you want to summon your Hammer Shark, activate its effect, get your Lost Blue Breaker out on the field using Hammer Shark's effect. It's effectively a double summon. And once you get your Lost Blue Breaker out there on the field, activate Lost Blue Breaker's effect to tribute itself to destroy that, say for example, that Harpy's Hunting Ground card, or if there's just a really annoying continuous spell or trap card out there on the field that you don't want, use it to destroy that. So effectively, it's kind of a roundabout way to start taking out your opponent's spell and trap cards. But it's nice where in the event that they don't really run too many spell or trap cards, it's still got a 1400 attack. So with Umi on the field, it gives it a 1600 attack, and it makes it pretty decent, to at least really expand your field. An ideal hand would be having a Hammer Shark, 2 level 3 monsters, or even an additional level 4 monster. That way you use Hammer Shark's effect, get one of your level 3s out on the field, then use your double summon to get a third monster on the field. So that way you're really filling your board within one turn. This type of deck has that type of ability to make a quick play, especially when you're going up against, say for example, a Tia Burn deck where you want to really empty your hand as soon as you can, depending on where you're at in the game. This deck does allow you to do that, while also being able to have the impact of a Levia Dragon clearing the entire board. So I don't know, in more ways than one, this deck could be very disruptive if the cards are pulled correctly. Eventually, I'd like to try and get a third Levia Dragon and possibly get rid of Suijin that way. Maybe tweak things around and get a second Umi in my deck as well if I know I'm going to be having 3 Levia Dragons. So that way it's kind of a way to reload, get another Umi into that field zone and destroy all other cards again and just finish the duel that way. But I've been having a lot of success using this deck. Like I said, with the level 3 monsters that this one comes with as well, you don't necessarily have to be too concerned about cards like the 4-star bug that flip effect destroys all level 4 monsters when you have a majority of level 3 monsters. Now there are some risks involved. I know that I can't remember the name of the monster, but you're allowed to tribute that monster and take control of all of your opponent's level 3 monsters. Yeah, there's something for you to worry about there. But it just depends on what your opponents are running. So overall, this deck has, like I said, it's been treating me very well in the World Championship qualifiers. Got up to gold level 5 using it, just kind of on the cusp of platinum. It's not going to be the kind of deck that'll take you all the way, but it is fairly competitive. So if you have the pieces, I'd suggest trying to build a deck like this. It is just, I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. But they're just trying to take a look here if there's any other combos involved. Yeah, there is one other short little combo that I do want to touch upon as well. And if you want to run a different type deck, if you have multiple copies of Piercing Moray, you could also format your deck in a different way. So you start with a Piercing Moray, you get that on the field, possibly utilize a double summon if you have that, and get a second card out. Ideally, you'd want something like a Needle Sunfish. That way, you activate Piercing Moray's effect to destroy one of your Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua type monsters to give it a 600 attack boost. And in the process, destroying your Needle Sunfish will allow you to target one of your opponent's monsters that are face up and reduce its attack by 500. So already you're getting pretty good ground on your opponent. If say your opponent has a Dark Magician out there on the field with a 2500 attack, getting rid of your Needle Sunfish will drop it to 2000, while also in the process getting your Piercing Moray up to 2300 attack instead of 1700. Now I'm saying that because I'm assuming you're going to have Umi on the field. If not, then your Piercing Moray's attack will only be 2100. But either way, that would still be enough to beat a 2500 or even to go head to head with a 2600 attack type monster. So with that combination, you can also be very effective against high attack monsters. So take advantage of that if you're going to run a different type of deck, but I feel like that's another effective combo. The other combo that you could also do is utilize your Lost Blue Breakers effect to destroy your Wild Tornado if you have one, thus being able to destroy any other face-up card on the field. So I don't know, there's multiple ways to do damage, and just some of these water combos are very effective and can operate pretty quick and just wreak havoc on your opponent that maybe they wouldn't normally expect with other decks. So anyway, that's kind of it in a nutshell. Have fun building this type of deck. If you have any similar builds or any other ideas that maybe I didn't mention today, feel free to reach out on Twitter at YuGiOh Deck Talk. It's all one word, at YuGiOh Deck Talk. And I'll be very curious to see what you guys come up with and what improvements we could actually make on these types of decks. So anyway, that's it for today's episode. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.